Hey, what do I talk about in this video? I talk about my reflections on the 2-day silent meditation retreat that Peter and I did. I talk about what is meditation, and you probably already do it. So talking about concentration meditation, and then there's like another meditation thing, insight meditation. I talk about my epiphanies, not really epiphanies, and I get hippie woo-woo into the future of humanity. So, listen up. I wanted to do a reflection sort of on the meditation retreat that Peter and I did. It was only 2 days. There are some people that do 10 days or 21 days, and that's mad respect to the people who go and do that, because it's a silent meditation retreat. So as soon as you get there, you're not allowed to talk, you're not allowed to write, you're not allowed to read, you're not allowed to do anything but meditate, sleep, and eat. This was an introduction one, and so we were it was a little less strict, but when you go on to an actual one, they're very strict about the rules. So basically for this one we weren't allowed to talk, except there was a moment where we did like a monk chat, which is we got to ask our monk that guided us, Monk KK, things about Buddhism, what it's like to be a monk, and questions about meditation, which is quite interesting to hear. Maybe I'll also explain sort of where I am, because you might be wondering, because it's fucking beautiful here. I'm outside of Chiang Mai, about an hour, the city in Chiang Mai in northern Thailand, at a place called Waters. So it's within, I think, Sri Lanka National Park, and it's fucking fabulous day here. The sky's really blue. We thought we were gonna get a storm. We had a massive storm yesterday evening, and it was like in the middle of a thunder and lightning storm on the water. Kind of cool, but it was a wet, damp sleep, but it was okay. So, things I wanted to share about the meditation retreat was mainly my main thought coming out was like, it wasn't anything new that I learned. I didn't have really a revelation about my life or anything I already didn't really explore or probe in the past, I would say. I could meditate for longer than 5 minutes. I had given myself a goal before, like just do 3 minutes of meditation, just do 5 minutes of meditation, and wasn't happening. 20 minutes sometimes feels longer, but now that I know I can do it, it's basically saying stop being a bitch and just do it. Maybe a little bit more about explaining about what meditation is. I am doing sitting meditation. However, basically what Monk KK told us, and maybe you already know, but there are 2 types of meditation. There's insight meditation and concentration meditation. Now, the typical thing that people think about with meditation is sitting meditation, like this. And you sit and you close your eyes and you don't try to think about anything, which isn't really true. You don't try to think about nothing, you're going to think about things. Mainly you try to concentrate on, that's the concentration meditation, concentrate on one thing and don't let other things bombard your mind. If that comes in, you just do a technique called noting. So, for instance, if you hear a noise, you're just like, noise, 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 let it go. If you have pain, which you will experience if you're doing sitting meditation, I have it here in my back, just like, fucking hell. And so I just go, pain, 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 in my head, not out loud, obviously. Pain, pain, pain. And it kind of subsides, it kind of goes away. It just kind of like numbs out a little bit. I didn't want to focus on my breathing, because when I breathed in, I felt pain in my back. So I did one of 2 things. I did counting, because they said to count your breaths. I would count, breathe in, I would visualize also the number. So breathe in 1 and exhale 2. Breathe in 3, exhale 4, and try to count as high as I could go. That seemed to help calm my body, calm my mind, because you're only concentrating on one thing. It's not like you've never done concentration meditation before, if you ever just focus solely on one thing and you're completely in the zone, maybe you know about flow state, athletes get it, runners, when you're working out. That's why I work out. I'm concentrating on what is my muscle doing, what am I doing, and you push everything else away, or everything. There's no worries, anxieties, depressions, nothing affecting your mental state, your well-being. You can meditate doing anything. Another thing that we did was a contemplation before eating, and so that was really helpful for me because I just eat so gluttonous. I just love eating, and I eat really fast. And Marianne, if you're watching this, she knows. Like, I'll have my whole plate gone, and she's just like taking 3 bites. It's fucking ridiculous. Because I did eat so slowly. Not only for 2 reasons. One, we were already meditating for like an hour or something. And so I was already pretty stoned, and like pretty relaxed, pretty slow. I was already eating quite slow, but this contemplation basically was saying, don't eat gluttonously, don't eat for beauty, just eat for the nourishment of your body to, end the hunger that you're experiencing right now, and that, not be sick, basically. But point being, you can also meditate when you're eating. And if you don't have any time to sit down, if you don't think you want to sit or lay or whatever, just while you're eating, no phone. For coaching clients, we do this as well, like in order to help people not overeat. No phone, no TV, no reading, just concentrate on your eating. And you're going to be more aware how much you're putting into your mouth, how fast you're eating, and then you're going to naturally eat less. They already show that in a lot of studies that if you're just focused on your eating, you're going to eat less, you're going to lose weight. So don't watch TV and all kinds of other bullshit, or work and eat at the same time. And then when you're chewing, just chewing. You can enjoy it too. You don't have to be bored, like chewing. You like chewing is fucking good, it's tasty, or focus on the flavors. What are you experiencing while you're eating? And while you do that, you're there in the moment, in the present, and you're not thinking about other things, and that's concentration meditation. So I think that's something that I really want to bring into my coaching a lot more, so I'm really glad that we did that. Because when I do personal training, at least, I try to make sure that people are there with me. Focus on what muscle you're working, how you're moving. You need to get into your body and be where you are for the most effective workout. And also to feel better, because you're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about your boyfriend or girlfriend and what an asshole they're being, or, whatever else. What else did I want to say about it, really? Oh, I had one insight or re-insight or remembrance of during meditation I had the same experience in a float tank. In the float tank, I also do meditation, float tank, isolation tank. So you're in a tank, like 800 pounds of Epsom salt, so you're naturally buoyant. You're not going to sink. You're just floating. It's dark. It's quiet. Easy to meditate in there. If your body aches or what have you, it's easy to get into a meditative state in a float tank. One thing that I realize is, yeah, you have the suffering, yeah, you have the thoughts, yeah, it's going to pass, clear. But one thing that is kind of we're all wanting to always be happy. We want to be happy, and that's what we want to be. And that's the goal, to be happy all the time, especially in our culture. And that is impossible, one. During meditation and in the float tank, when you hit that sort of like relaxing, zen-like state, fear, oh my God, it's gonna stop soon. You're gonna snap right out of it, and then you're gone. And then, I realize, yeah, it's gonna go. But that's the natural course of events. It's gonna go away. Just like the pain goes away, the happiness and joy also goes away. Letting go of that, the fear that it's going to go away, is a huge thing. For another example is I read a book. It was talking about flow state. If you're with a friend and you're having a really good time and you're just talking with them and you're having an amazing time, laughing, whatever the hell you're doing, and then all of a sudden you look at your watch and you're like, fuck, I have to leave soon. That sucks, you know? And then all of a sudden you're not having a good time because you realize that that good time is gonna go away. You can do one of two things. You're probably gonna have that realization, right? So when that thing came up for me, like, shit, this meditative, like, Zen state's gonna go away, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Just enjoy still right now. And then that either keeps me in or takes me back out. Yes, and also, if anyone out there listening knows me, I complain a lot. I just voice every ache and pain in my body and share it with whoever's around. If you're training, you're hurting, right? I don't know, you just are. And I like to tell people about it. Most of my friends laugh or just tune me out. Peter finds it annoying, as you can imagine. If you spend so much time together, it can get a little annoying. But the good news is, well, I gotta practice now, but I had kind of, the silent retreat made it quite clear to me. We were at the coffee stand and I was having like cramps and I was all bloated because I was gonna start my period. And so we were at the coffee stand and I wanted to say, I had the urge to say to Peter, I'm bloated and crampy. Just why? I don't know. You know, what, but I couldn't because it's a silent retreat, so I literally wasn't allowed to say it. Like, the urge passed. I thought, well, what benefit otherwise would it be for me to say that? None. No benefit to me or to him. So I realized, well, I guess it's not really necessary to do that. It's a habit, so, you know, habits are a challenge to break, but can be done. Still, it's a good lesson. You don't need to complain all the time. Another personal thing for me, and I think for a lot of people who, well, for everyone, but there are, I think, some people more than others that have the I'm not good enough voice that chases them throughout their life. And the monk there, Monk KK, says, be proud of who you are. And I think that's hard for a lot of people. I just listened to a chapter in Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules of Life. We, you know, our psyche is such a way that we're never satisfied with where we are. We're looking into the horizon. In the horizon, it's always better, and right now it's always insufficient. Even if we're if we were in the past, where we are now, probably pretty good, you know? Look at where I am. Fucking amazing. So I can't complain, but I do. Like, where do I want to be? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do after this 6 months? I guess also conditioned that if you need to have this certification to be this, then you're this, and that means you're good. I have another certification planned, functional range conditioning, FRC, which is a mobility specialist basically. But, you know, what is that going to really bring me? Is that going to get me closer to where I want to be? Not really. Action is. When I go to this, I already have less now because of this thought, but I already had this thought of, I am not going to be as good as a personal trainer, as knowledgeable as these other people, and so I'm not going to be as good. And so I need to study my ass off before I go, so when I get there, I know what's going on, and I don't look like an idiot. How I'm planning to approach this is just be proud of what I already know and be honest about it. Don't try to hide the fact that I don't know things, because that we're all really good at doing that. And I think people appreciate when you're honest about what you know and what you don't know. I want to go into this certification showing that I want to learn. That's why I'm there. That's why people are there, because they don't know either. Otherwise, like, why would you go to it? And learn from others and respect their knowledge and get better in my own fields, but also ask them, like, what are you doing and how did you get there? And maybe I can take that route as well. A really good lesson that's so simple. It's all simple. But we get caught up in our busyness and looking at everybody else and comparing. The last thing I wanted to share is going to be a bit more out there. Yeah. So it's a collection of different ideas kind of put together. So all these different things I listen to and whatever have come into one kind of conclusion, which which came together. Basically, it was during this monk chat thing, and someone asked about karma. So they asked, like, yeah, if you keep having bad karma, how do you get out of the shitty cycle, basically? And I heard this analogy before by somebody else, but the monk KK said, imagine that, okay, you can't see any sort of, oh yeah, here's perspective. So imagine there's two people here at my elbow, okay? And this is a straight line. Two people at my elbow. This is nirvana, or like the end point of ultimate, like, happiness, whatever. And then this is, like, I don't know, whatever the fuck's back there. Another thought I had was, it's kind of out there, kind of hippie woo-woo. So maybe if you're not into it, like, just stop listening. But and it was an explanation. Basically, someone asked about karma, how to get out of the negative cycle of bad karma. If you do bad things, then bad things come to you. If you do good things come to you. I heard this explanation before, so I'm going to give you some perspective here. Now imagine this is nirvana, and this is the shitty place. And so you have, like, two people here. One's, like, getting all kinds of good karma and going forward, and the other one's getting bad karma and going backwards. Someone needs to do a U-turn and go the other way. How do you do that? Nobody knows. You just try to do good, and you see other people do good, and then the goodness keeps going. That I had listened to a podcast, Joe Rogan and Daniele Bolelli. Daniele Bolelli is a historian, and he does a history podcast. He was saying that, we have it good now. People are like, oh, the war, oh, this, that. But, back in Rome in the Colosseum, that was pretty fucking gory, right? People aren't doing that now, really. Maybe some pockets. But the overall way of the world isn't as gruesome and fucked up as it used to be, right? Can we agree on that? They're also giving the example of Native Americans, where if there would be a circumstance where they would take in the white person as their own, and a lot of circumstances where these, like, Europeans would go back to European colony, whatever, settlement, and be like, fuck this, and go back because they were treated better. But apparently the culture was that sometimes they would do that to replace a lost family member, and then, yes, you would be treated just like you were part of the family. But if they didn't like you, they'd fucking slowly torture you. So, that's not great, I think. If you think about how we've progressed as humans, I would say it's gotten pretty good. It's not ideal, obviously, but it's gotten pretty good. And so the point is, if you think of karma on a individual level, like, you come back in a better life than last time. But what about on a whole, as humanity? I think that we're, this is where the other weird hippie shit comes in, because I'm kind of into listening to these new age kind of channelers, and how a lot of them talk about channeling different beings. Okay, this is where it's getting weird. Channeling different beings, and that they're saying and have been saying that, as a human race, we're moving towards a lighter frequency, higher frequency, the next level, whatever the fuck you want, whatever terms we can wrap our little human brains around, we're moving closer to that. And here comes Peter to interrupt me. What the fuck was I saying? Talking about the new age hippie shit, that we're going to a higher frequency, and the most recent one I listened to was my aunt went to this channeling of this certain guy, and I just kind of Googled some of what this guy channeled of this other being, and he was saying that we need to let go of the fear that things are going to be bad, because soon it's going to be all good, or something along those lines. And that got me thinking, like, on a larger scale of humanity, maybe our group karma or group consciousness or whatever is becoming good. So this good cycle, we're moving forward away from like shittiness and more towards nirvana as a whole group, or this lighter frequency where it's just like enlightened good beings and there is no more of the suffering. So that was my thought. Feels pretty good. Anybody else get what I'm saying? I don't know. I like to think about these things and also not be confined by the sort of enlightened scientific view, and that's only really been a short part of human history, whereas before it was not based on scientific rational thought but on what you experience. And so, science has been able to catch up with meditation and why people have done it for thousands of years. And so, yeah, maybe science will catch up with some of this other trippy, weird shit. Maybe not. Maybe we don't need to. Maybe we'll just get there without it. But, yeah, those were my insights. And that's it. Just wanted to share it. I would like for you to share your experiences of meditation, of mindfulness, different ways you meditate. And 2, if you want to comment on the weird trippy shit, woo-woo, the forward propelling of the human race into a more enlightened realm. Love to hear it. Bye.